Hello everyone, this is Jyoti Sharan. I'm second year PhD student at Penn State, and today in this video we have Alex with us who has done postdoc, who has worked with NASA on multiple projects, especially to find out the habitable planets in space. And he has done his PhD from University of Delaware, and he will be discussing mostly about how to apply for postdoc, what is the research area, and what do you do during your postdoc. So, hi, Alex.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hi. Can you briefly tell the audience about your research background?
Sure. Yeah. So I started researching exoplanets in grad school. After I'd been there for a year, I found a project that my advisor at grad school was working on simulating the movement of exoplanets when they're born, and then I transitioned to detecting exoplanets that can support life. So I've been working on exoplanets for about 8 years now.
Okay, so you have 8 years of experience to working. So, do you think there are some other planets where there is life possible?
Yeah, I think we're probably going to find microbial life within the next 50 years.
Okay.
Um, it could be even be sooner than that. It could be 10 or 20 years. But I'm not sure if we're going to find intelligent life. But it's likely we'll find bacteria or other microbes.
Okay. So, how did you decided to go and do research in this astrophysics and astronomy?
I think I think it's always been an interesting field to me because it seems like the amount of knowledge that we can gain about other planets and other systems out there is limitless. As our technology evolves, we can find more and more planets, more stars, more variety, and we're finding more and more variety in those systems. So it's an exciting field to be in.
Okay, and also, yeah, you're right. It's very interesting. And if somebody wants to follow your path, can you tell like what they should do in their undergrad, during their grad school, and then finally about postdoc?
Sure, I majored in physics, but you can also major in astronomy if your school has a program like that, or astrophysics, anything related to physics, astronomy, astrophysics, or somewhere something related to that would be best.
Mhm.
Um, and in grad school, I also went to grad school for physics, but it was a department of physics and astronomy, so it was sort of overlapped, and a lot of us in that department did research in astronomy. Then I got a postdoc position at Penn State doing in an astronomy department. It's not a physics department here.
Mhm.
Um, and I found that position using a website called the AAS Job Register. So I recommend using that if you're looking to apply to postdoc positions or even post-bac positions. They have positions that are designed for after undergrad but before grad school, and that can also help with getting into a good grad school.
So you use this particular website to find the postdoc position. So, do you want to show that website if you can, or like?
Yeah, do you want me to screen share it or?
Yeah. You can do the screen share. I made you the host. So there is like most of the people don't know how to approach professor, whether there is position available or not. So this is for USA. You can follow this link of this particular website, and you can find all the postdoc positions which are available, or even some PhD positions.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
see if I can share my screen.
yeah. It's
Yep.
yeah. Okay. So this.
Yep. So then there's filters. This is just aas.org/job register,
Mhm.
and you can see there's filters on the side here. So this is what I did to get my postdoc. I filtered for postdoctoral positions and fellowships, and then I scrolled through this list and applied to anything that looked interesting to me. Most of these applications are going to be happening. This list is kind of short right now because we're in June. But if you look at this list between September and January, that's when it's most populous. It'll be about 4 or 5 times as long. There'll be a lot of openings. Most of the applications are due between October and January. So you definitely want to be looking at this in September and October and getting your application started in September and October, and those positions would start the following year.
Okay, that's great. I can see like there are some tenure track and faculty positions also. So if you are done with your PhD, you can find these roles after the PhD. So this is the website for you. Thank you, Alex, for sharing this. And what was your next step? Like, for example, now you find out there is opening. Then what will be the next step the person has to follow?
So then, if you click on the links for the individual jobs, you'll see the application process. Usually, they want letters of recommendation. You can get those from the best person for those would be a research advisor if you've done research in graduate school or undergrad or sort of the most recent research advisor you've had. You can also have professors or other people who know about your work habits write those recommendations. Probably best if you don't get them from family members or anybody who could be considered too close to you. Um,
Yeah.
but uh, but yeah, so you get letters of recommendation. You usually have to write a short essay describing why you want the position and also a summary of your research. So I think I had to write a 3-page summary of the research that I had performed in grad school and how it was related to the positions I was applying to. Each of those usually requires a summary. So it's a process, and I recommend starting giving yourself a month or two to work on those, so you have plenty of time to edit them and reach out to uh,
Professor.
faculty members at your university or people who might be able to edit and review your research summary and things like that before you submit them.
Yeah. So did you submit it to the website or did you email it to the professor?
So I submitted things all through these websites, through these links online. I didn't reach out to any professors individually, but I did know the professor I ended up getting a job with ahead of time. I had met him at a conference, so
Okay.
it helps to be traveling, going to conferences, and
Hmm.
meeting people and talking to them about your research. Because if they've seen your face before, if they're familiar with you, they're a lot more likely to give your application a serious look than if you're just some random person that they've never heard of.
Yeah. So this is always advisable. Even in PhD, I ask people like before applying, have like a Zoom interaction with the professor or do some time of interaction with the professor or the group member so you know or they know who you are instead of just your application on a paper, right?
Yeah, another thing I did is around this time when I was applying to postdocs, I reached out to places where I could give talks. I just tried to get my face out there as much as possible. So I gave a few talks at universities in their colloquia and their weekly seminars, things like that. And I think that helped sort of get my face out there more and remind people, yeah, I've been at conferences. This is who I am. This is what I do for research. So I recommend doing that, reaching out to people and just asking, hey, do you have a spot at your seminar for this kind of talk? And you can you can just reach out to people in the community in this astronomical community like that, and they're usually very they'll respond very positively. Uh, they might
Okay.
not always have a spot, but it's always worth asking.
So during those talk, you present your paper or just somebody who doesn't have their paper, they can also present their like ongoing
It,
research.
it depends on the talk. Some of them you get the whole floor for 30 minutes. That's more rare. Usually you get like a 5 or 10 minute segment where you can just talk about a paper or you can just talk about a project you're working on. It doesn't have to be a published paper or even a paper in preparation. It could just be, this is what I've been doing for research. They're usually pretty open ended, but it's a good opportunity to get feedback on your work and get your name out there.
Okay. So the like making connections during your PhD, that is really important if you want to be in academia. And also you said like it's dream for most of the people to work with NASA or on some kind of associated with NASA, and especially in your field. So how did you ended up with that particular project? Like you said you have worked on multiple grants.
Yeah. So the grant I got hired to initially in my postdoc was not a NASA grant, but I applied to some NASA grants. But
Okay.
and I did that jointly with some NASA data scientists.
Mhm.
So there's a NASA lab in California called the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where I met someone who worked there, and they connected me at a conference, and they connected me with some data scientists who were interested in collaborating. And then with those data scientists, I submitted grant proposals to NASA grant calls. So it's definitely important to just talk to people about your research and talk to them about what you're excited about and what you're interested in. Um, that's how you sort of build these collaborations. And I think that having the NASA data scientists writing the grant with me, I think, was a big reason why we succeeded in getting the NASA grants.
Grants. Okay. So, like, if you are interested in working in any particular field, then you should take the initiative on your own and then, go on conferences, contact people, maybe through LinkedIn, maybe through conferences or anyway, and then write to them and they'll reach back to you if they are interested in your work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This connection I made with the people at NASA was I was just talking to someone in a lunch line, and about what I was interested in at a conference. So I mean, it can be very casual. You just that's the point of these conferences, is to just casually talk to people about what you're interested in, and make these connections.
Okay. Thank you for this information, Alex. And do you have like any suggestion for the students who are especially looking for postdoc and who are not particularly from, let's say, United States, but they want to come here? Like they're not in the same country, so they cannot, directly go on conferences and meet these scientists. But like, is there a way, or will you suggest anything to people like that?
Yeah, I mean, there are some international conferences. There are conferences in Europe, things like that, that a lot of people go to. So you can if you can get to any conferences, I think those are really best. But if you can't do that, or you can't afford it, yeah, try reaching out to the organizers of these department seminars and colloquia and things like that, to get your name out there.
Mhm.
There are you can look these up. Every university sort of has a different one. Like, you can look up the Penn State Astro Department website, and then find out who and just, you could just email the department head, honestly. Like, they'll point you in the right direction. You can
Okay.
just like, if you're not sure who to talk to, just email someone who looks like they have knowledge about this kind of thing at the university. Say, hey, you're interested in giving a talk,
Mhm.
and they can connect you with the person who's organizing it, because it changes every year, so it might be hard to keep track of who's organizing these things. But if you put your name out there and say, hey, I'd like to give a talk about this research, and that research is something relevant to astronomy or astrophysics or something like that, then oftentimes they can find a spot for you. They're always looking for people to give talks, and that's a great way to get your name out there.
Okay.
It's a Zoom talk, so you can do it all remotely.
Yeah, that's great. Most of the people didn't, I'm sure they didn't know about this process. And now, like, maybe after watching this video, they can know, like, how to apply for postdoc. And also a brief last question. So what happened in postdoc? Most of the people are confused. They think like PhDs end like maybe the last stage of your study. So is the postdoc also similar to PhD? How long it is and what happened there?
Yeah, so they vary. Postdocs can be between 1 year and 5 years usually. That's the range. My postdoc was originally supposed to be 3 years, but because I brought in the extra grant money, I ended up working as a postdoc for 4 years.
Mhm.
Um, the 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 work you do is very similar to what you would do late in your PhD, but you're more treated, instead of having that advisor-student relationship, you're more treated as a collaborator, more on an equal level with the faculty members. You basically spend your full work time doing research. So whatever that means for your project, you're going to be working on that. You're going to be writing grant proposals to get more funding. You're going to be writing papers to communicate your research with the community. Um, but the majority of your time is spent just doing the work, doing the research. So it's kind of a nice way to get a lot of research done and build up your research record, especially if you're worried that you don't have enough papers to get a faculty job, something like that. A lot of people use postdocs as a way to sort of beef up their resume and make it more attractive for faculty positions by getting a stronger research record.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for answering it. Um, so thank you, Alex, for all the information. It was really nice of you to take out some time and talk with us about your research experience and everything. Thank you so much. I hope this will help students. And if any one of you have any doubts, please comment in the video below and we'll be happy to help you. For more such information, keep watching Yourpedia. Thank you.